Hello, welcome to Back to School Night and welcome to my ethnic studies class or our ethnic studies class. My name is Mr. Munoz and I teach ethnic studies in Oaxaca House. I'm going to be talking a little bit about ethnic studies. Just a little bit of background about myself that I share with my students. I'm originally from Los Angeles. I grew up in Hollywood. I went to college at Grinnell College in Iowa, and I did my teacher education program. I got my credentials from the Stanford Teacher Education Program. My parents are originally from Guatemala, and I have a lot of family that still lives in Guatemala. I'm also a huge sports fan, so I like to talk to my students about the Bay Area rivals, the Clippers and the Dodgers. So I'm going to go over the 4 units that we're going to be learning about in ethnic studies this semester. Unit 1, which we are in right now, is defining ethnic studies and identity. Unit 2 is going to be a unit on race and racism. Unit 3 is going to be a unit on gender and sexuality. And then Unit 4 is going to be a unit on transformation and change, where students will take all that they have learned this semester and apply it to ideas that they have about transformation and change in relation to what we've learned this semester. Yeah. Skills that we're going to cover, we'll be talking about and focusing on sourcing. Annotation strategies will be the main focus of our first unit. Historical narratives. When we're talking about writing, we'll develop essays that have paragraphs that focus on claim, evidence, commentary, and analysis. And then for speaking, it'll be focused on authentic student talk, so conversations that students have with each other, and presentations. Grading categories, there are 4 categories, and I don't have much time, so I won't go into detail about each of them. The first one is participation. So it's just class videos, questions that I pose to students, and class slides. The second category is performance. So that's summary assessments. So they're going to be worth about 12 points, and we'll have 1 assessment per unit. So we'll have about 4 assessments this semester. The next category is reflective community member. I'm going to ask students to reflect at least once during a unit, and it'll be 10% of a student's grade. And then the last category is a practice category. That includes homework, do nows, classwork, assignments that students do in class, and those are graded for completion. In terms of assignments and homework, most assignments are classwork, do nows, questions that students answer at the beginning, and then notebook notes that students take. And I'll go over materials later on in this presentation. I usually provide suggested due-by dates or due dates, and students have to make sure that they've submitted it by the time that we have a digital work check, and that's usually at the end of the unit. Anything that students don't finish in class turns into homework, and they have to finish that on their own time. Students generally have enough time to finish these assignments in class. Okay, and then for performance, the summative assessments, students will work on them in class and will have time to work on them in class. However, it usually will not be enough time, so they're going to have to complete a lot of the summative assessments outside of class time. This is what a typical distance learning period looks like. I usually go over the agenda, tell students what they're going to need and what we're going to be covering that day. Students have 10 minutes for a do now, where it's a question that gets them to think about what we're going to focus on for that day. Then I usually have about 20 minutes of either notes, lecture, information, videos that students engage with. Sometimes we have a 5-minute break. Then we have usually 30 minutes where students do individual work, partner work, or group work, where they apply the information that they've engaged with earlier in the class. And then the last 10 minutes are usually class discussion, share out, or additional work time. And then just so you know, we have a humanities, it's ethnic studies is a humanities class. So students are going to learn concepts and skills, sorry, that are going to be applied in both ethnic studies and English class. So that means that in each unit, students are going to spend time in both ethnic studies and English working on common assessments. So the graded assessment is going to count as a single grade in both English and ethnic studies. Zoom expectations, students know that they're required to log in on time. They mute themselves at the start of class and make sure that their cameras are turned on. I remind them to limit distractions as much as possible. Students are reminded to turn on their camera and microphone when they are in breakout rooms because they're going to be working in smaller, with either a pair or with two other students. So it's a smaller group. And then students know that they should message me if they have any internet or camera issues. I'm going to skip over this. So things that students are going to need in class. They for sure need a computer with a functioning microphone and camera. All students received computers as part of their welcome box. I know that some computers have issues. If a student has issues with technology, they should let their advisor know because they can help them troubleshoot or get a new computer if they need it. If students are going to need access to internet. The school can provide hotspots to students if they need internet. Students are also going to need a notebook, and it's just a regular kind of ring notebook. And it's just a regular notebook that they're just going to use for ethnic studies. And then they also need an ethnic studies reader. And the reader looks like this. It should be in there, or they should have gotten it in their starter box. I'm going to give you a quick tour of Canvas. And let me see. Okay, I'll give you a quick tour of Canvas and then I'll talk about communication. So this is usually what students see on Canvas. For ethnic studies, they should click on this. This is what the homepage looks like. Okay. Modules is where students, sorry, and I'll just start with the homepage actually. This is where all of the Zoom links are. So if a student is in fourth period, they click on this link here and it'll take them to the Zoom link. The bell schedule I usually have here at the bottom. Okay. Modules is where students have all of their assignments. So modules are set up by week. So for unit 1, which is what we're working on, it gives them the week number and then the dates for the week. Students usually have their do nows at the top, and we have one just about every day. And then it's broken down by day: Thursday, Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the assignments for those days are listed right below. So for Thursday, we had a Nearpod that they completed. Tuesday, Wednesday, the assignments are listed under here. For grades, that's where students can see, and then you should also be able to see scores. It'll tell you what it's out of if it's graded. If it's missing, it should have a missing or an M. If it has a score of 0, it means that it was not submitted or it was incomplete. It was graded as a 0, or it might just be a dash, which means that it hasn't been graded. Okay. And then the last thing is communication. So the best way for students to get in touch with me is by sending me a message on Canvas. If a student needs help with an assignment or they have questions, they should come to office hours. Parents, the best way for you to reach me is either through a Canvas message or through email, and this is my email here. Okay, and I'll do my best to respond within 24 hours. I know this was quick. It was nice meeting you all. If you all have any questions, please send me an email.